from 0 to 60K in just like 6-7 months entirely on Twitter.
To 60K a month in 6 months with an agency.
Twitter isn't like, it's not complicated. And in 2 weeks, I reached like 250 followers and I landed my first deal.
You only need 3 clients to get to 10K a month.
1 hour after that, I jumped on the sales call, I closed the guy, and I closed like 3 that week.
What would your advice be now that you have the coaching program for almost a month now? I am here with my guy, Tim. He's from Serbia, out there where rent's like $100 a month, which is not fair for us in America here. You got Jokic from the Nuggets living above you, right? Which is also dope. So he's in a cool building. And this guy makes 60 grand a month from a Twitter account. Like that's simply it, from a Twitter account. It's got the 60K a month. And so in this video, he's going to give away a lot of the secrets, a lot of everything that he uses to be able to do that, and exactly how he shows other people how to use Twitter to do the same exact thing. He calls it his sniper DM approach. So we're going to dive into everything. I'm going to go into pretty much how he started, how quickly he scaled to that point. So you guys can kind of get some inspiration on how he did it. But anyways, Tim, great to have you here, bro. You want to give a quick little kind of intro of yourself?
Yeah, man. So first of all, thank you for having me there. I'm so proud to be there. And I'm glad that you took your time, because Twitter isn't as popular as Instagram. I know that, but we also deserve some attention there.
Yeah.
So talking about the background, just a quick overview. So I scaled my agency from 0 to 60K in just like 6-7 months entirely on Twitter. So I started a brand new Twitter account and I started a brand new agency basically at the same time.
Dude, it's so funny because we both scaled to 60K a month in 6 months with an agency. Like that's exactly what we both did, but you just used Twitter and I just used Instagram. So it's kind of funny. We did the exact same thing, short form content agency, 60K a month in less than 6 months, right? And we did at the same time, but that's funny. Keep going.
Yeah. I think that I don't exactly know. I think that your way is probably like the easiest one, but still I was not the fan of the video content.
For me, it looks like your way is the easiest one. So the grass is always greener. But
yeah, for sure. So that's kind of the overview. And yes, I'll do my best to let you know exactly how this whole thing works, because Twitter isn't like, it's not complicated actually. So there are a few like simple steps that you can do. The main thing is consistency. I'm going to give you all the sounds here. So yeah, let's go with the questions.
Cool. Yeah. So dude, the first thing I would ask you is, what did you do before you started the agency? And like, what made you want to start it to begin with? Like, what made you think, oh, business is the route I want to go, versus like getting a 300 a month job, which is like what most Serbians probably do, right?
Yeah. So first thing first, I was dreaming, like I first got the idea about becoming an entrepreneur at the age of like 16 or something. So I read the book, like Steve Jobs, he's like my favorite guy, business he built, like it's incredible. So I read this book and I decided that I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I struggled for a while with ideas, but then I, found all these YouTube gurus and decided that agency is probably the best way to start. I was like, again, I was ready to grind and online money, everything. So decided to start with the agency and I started there. So I scaled my first agency, my real first agency, to 90K there. But then I decided that like, shit, I'm still making money only here at home, but I felt like the real money are outside of it, like in US, in UK, in Europe in general. So I don't want to be limited by like just my small country. So that's why I started learning English, and basically I started doing it like 1.5 years ago. So I'm completely new to the language.
Dude, you've only learned English the last 1.5 years?
Yeah. And I did that only because of, I needed this to build another agency in US. So I just like, wow. Yeah. So again, goal is everything. So I decided to build an agency and I'm like, fuck, I don't know English. Man, I need to.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I can't imagine learning Serbian in 1.5 years and being that good at it, but
yeah,
dude, good for you. Yeah,
you don't need to. You was born in the US. You gotta,
yeah.
You have all the cheat codes in this game. So basically, that's how it all started. And then I realized that first of all, it's so easier to sell in US. Man, you can't even imagine it, because clients there, you can reach out to the business who's doing like 5-figure months and you can sell him for exactly 5-figure months. I don't know how it works, but you can do this, and they're paying high. They're like requiring less attention, less service.
Easier clients to deal with. They pay more. They stay longer. Right. That's typically for most people.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, Eastern European countries, Middle East, like it's a lot harder to charge $2, $3, $4, $5 grand a month. It's almost impossible to charge that much in some places, and they are harder clients. They message you all the time. Whereas like the clients that make $100K a month in America, they never message you. They never ask you questions. They just pay every month and they keep going. So
exactly. And the reason why I started on Twitter, basically because like I didn't know English. So on Twitter, I could go to translator. I could come up with the tweet and translate it and post it on Twitter. So that's why I started there. Right now, I'm also working, as you know, I'm working on Instagram, shooting reels as well. But Twitter kind of seemed to me like easier to join, to start from.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Okay. So we can skip over like the part of like, oh, how do you figure out your niche? How do you figure out your offer? All that stuff. Plenty of videos on that. If you guys want to know about more about that, go watch a video on YouTube on that. But let's say someone has their niche figured out, they have their offer, right? What's the best way for them to get their first client on Twitter? Like, what's the first step, and how quickly do you think someone can actually get a client like on Twitter if they start talking about their offer?
Yeah, so that's an interesting part. And when I started on Twitter, I literally started with free YouTube videos. So there's nothing complicated in it. You can just Google like Twitter growth, organic stuff, and like 80% of information you can learn for free on YouTube. It's like highly accessible. I started doing that just like consistently. And in 2 weeks, I reached like 250 followers and I landed my first deal. So that fast, it was really fast. And I was like a little bit even like scared of it because again, I didn't know English and I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. Let's figure out fulfillment after. So I landed the deal and I tried to figure out, and the person stayed happy. So that's kind of
and I think the part that you bring value to, because right, you coach people on how to use Twitter, right? And so I think obviously you can go find a bunch of free stuff on how to make all this content. Like I coach people on paid ads on Instagram and how to blow up a coaching program. And like you can go find how to run paid ads anywhere on YouTube, right? So that's not the value. The value is like, how do you actually get these people to convert into clients, right? Anybody can go post on Twitter. Anybody can figure out how to grow an audience probably, right? Because it's just written words. If you write the right things all day long, you can grow an audience. Yeah. But the hard part is probably like, how do you actually get these people to pay you $2 grand a month, $3 grand a month, right? What would you say to someone who's like, okay, Tim, I've got 1,000 followers now, but I have no clients. Like, how do I actually get these people on a call with me and close them?
Yeah, man. So that's highly important point. And I have a great story about that. So I started Twitter like exactly 13 months ago, and I grew my first account. Like I had 2 accounts. The first one, I grew to 12K followers in 6 months. Twitter suspended it for no reason, whatever.
Now that Elon's in, they wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. So right now I'm kind of safe. But with the first account with 12K followers, which is like decent amount of followers, I was making 2K a month. So with this account, I had no idea how to monetize it. So I sell stuff here and there, but nothing consistent, nothing high ticket. Yeah. Once Twitter suspended my account, it got me thinking like, okay, they can took away my followers, but they can't take away my money. I need to figure out the way, how can I monetize from day one, from like 0 followers, and how can I sell high ticket? How can I basically like squeeze everything out of like audience I have. So that was the goal with my second account. I started like 2 weeks. I spent 2 weeks like kind of depressed because again, 12K followers, some kind of achievement. I lost it like in a second. But then I started a new account, and at the level of 1.5K followers, I was already making 10 grand a month. So basically and the reason behind it, I like joined a couple of coachings. Again, I learned how to do sales, how to do like high ticket, and kind of transition to this part, figure out the offer and all of this stuff, and started making one with like just 1.5K.
Dude, yeah.
followers.
I have a very similar story. So like on Instagram for me, when I had my agency and I was posting about it, I started off with like 1,000 followers from like friends and family, right? None of these people were going to buy from me and my agency, but I started posting like the business type of content, trying to get people attracted to my offer. And the first like 50 to 100 followers I got, I closed 3 or 4 clients, right? Keep in mind, if you have a high ticket offer, $2,500, $3,000, right? You only need 3 clients to get to 10K a month, 3 or 4 clients, right? So if you can close 3 or 4 people out of the 100 leads, like followers are leads, right? So if you can close 3 to 4 of those, you can get to 10K a month pretty quickly. I got to 10K a month in 16 days of my, opening my Instagram account to talk about business stuff. So for people out there, like people say like, oh, you shouldn't make content if you don't have anything to talk about, if you're not credible. But like, if you're a new agency owner, if you're a new like online business owner, the best thing you can do is create content, because you can literally go from 0 to 10K a month. The quickest that I've like 0 to 10K a month with content is probably the fastest way to get there, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And the biggest part of this change with my with 2 accounts, I have I'm lucky because I have something to compare. And the biggest change that I've done with my content to make sure that I'm actually attracting people who are ready to pay high ticket. I was running this TikTok agency, basically short form agency for e-com brands. And I shifted my focus. So I'll give you a quick example. If I'm writing a tweet or thread and I'm I started with how to make your first dollar on TikTok as an e-com owner, I'm only attracting people who are not making money at all on this thread. But if I write something like how to scale your 6-figure business to 7 figures on TikTok using TikTok Organic, I'm attracting people who are actually making money already. So I call it eagle bait instead of sparrow bait. And basically you can literally have the same value in this thread, but you just change the target and man, it's done. So only people who have money follows you, and you can easily sell 5, 10K stuff, whatever. So
sweet, man. Yeah. So I'm hoping on hopping on Twitter soon. That's kind of maybe a next move for me. I'm not quite there yet. I'm on my one offer, one funnel to 1 million, and my one funnel is Instagram. And we're about to crush 7 figures in the next few days, in the next 30 days, with just Instagram. And then maybe, I'll start venturing off to other platforms. But for me right now, it's my one funnel. But I'm going to hopefully hop on Twitter soon. The sort of next step for you is you have a coaching offer now, right? So you're coaching people on how to use Twitter, how to use Twitter to acquire clients. And it's mostly agency owners, right?
Agency owners or B2B mostly.
Yeah. So B2B coaches, B2B consultants, agency owners, they're kind of online niche, anybody B2B. Cause that's typically what you're probably good at on Twitter, is helping those type of clients. So how is the coaching offer going so far? And if you guys don't know, Tim is, I'll probably be one of his clients soon on the Twitter side, but he's one of my clients on the sort of coaching side, cause he had never had a coaching offer before. And so how is the coaching side going so far for you? I know you launched 3.5 weeks ago. How's it going so far?
Yeah, it's going awesome, dude. I haven't expected. So I joined your coaching exactly 1 month ago. And that's when we jumped on this onboarding call and we figured out my basically offer, and I started promoting it. I remember you said on our first call, you said dude, you gotta land your first client. And I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna do that? I never coached before. Yeah. And right after that, 1 hour after that, I jumped on the sales call. I closed the guy, and I closed 3 that week. That's
probably the fastest closed deal I've ever had a client. 1 hour after our coaching call.
Yeah. And I was literally I was scared for the whole hour, and I'm and then I'm jumped on the sales call, and guy okay, shoot me a link, and payment link, and it's done. Basically, it's going great so far. I'm using right now 2 funnels. So I created my funnel on Twitter, of course, because it's something I'm good at, and I'm also using yours Instagram funnel. And right now I feel I have a split 60 to 40%. 60% of clients are coming from Twitter and 40% from Instagram. I like the funnel on Instagram. It's going really well. I recently blew up with organic video. My appointment setter kind of is going crazy with the amount of inbounds we've got. But both of the platforms are crushing it. And I feel Instagram and Twitter are pretty much the same platforms, because they both have organic growth potential. You can grow organically or launch ads, whatever, but you can get a lot of exposure there, and you have DMs, because on YouTube, on TikTok, you can DM people, and it limits your kind of,
just that's the big thing about these platforms, right? There's only a few what I call community platforms, where these are the most valuable platforms in my opinion. Facebook groups, Instagram, and Twitter are like the big community platforms. So TikTok, they have DMs, but they suck, right? You can't go in and start a conversation with a prospect, book them in for a call, right? You can, but it's a little more complicated. Facebook groups, you can get people in a group. They're all like-minded, right? You can message those people, book them in for a call, start conversations. Instagram, in my opinion, one of the best ones is where you can build the audience, build the community using paid ads, consistency, right? You can build a consistent paid community of people that are all your ideal clients, and then start conversations and book them in for a call. So that's why Twitter and Instagram work great together. They both have those DM platforms, which most people don't think about. Like most people are like, oh yeah, they got DMs. Like, oh yeah, I shoot funny videos to my friends all the time. It's awesome. But you don't actually think about, okay, what if we actually started conversations with prospects to qualify them, see if they're a good fit, and book them in for a call? Like most people don't think about that. So what would you say to somebody who's like just getting like about to launch a coaching offer, or they have a coaching offer, they're not on Instagram, they're not on Twitter. Like what would your advice be now that you have a coaching program for almost a month now? Like what would you say to those people?
That first of all, this having a coaching program is way more enjoyable than having an agency, because with the agency, like everyone hates you, like your clients hate you for no reason, even though you're bringing results, you're doing your best and you're giving them results. What else you want,
Yeah, I always tell people that agencies make rich people richer, and coaches change lives. At least some coaches are scams, and I could list a few, but I don't want to. So, but anyways.
Yeah. So basically it's way more enjoyable. I've got like so much more great feedback in this, in the last months than I've ever gotten with my agency. Just because when people join coaching, they're ready to change, they are ready to take action, and they are taking responsibilities for their actions, as well as so your side is like giving them info, frameworks, basically the game plan, and their part is to implement it step by step and follow the process and succeed. Basically there's no chance they can't succeed if the framework is proven and if they're actually following it. So that's why I think people are way more happier with the service than with the agency side. So that's the first part. The second part is I just personally like it more. And, right after our first coaching call, I also jumped on a call with my sister. She's launching some kind of an agency. She's younger than me. And she asked me a few questions about sales, etc. I end up spending 90 minutes, teaching her stuff like sales, etc. And I enjoyed it so much that on this exact call, I decided that I want to go all in on coaching, because man, that's my thing,
Yeah. And I always like what I've been kind of preaching recently is the things that most agencies do are maybe paid ads. You're running paid ads for somebody. You maybe edit videos for them. You maybe build a website for them. And all of these things everybody can kind of see are starting to be automated by AI. Running an ad is as simple as probably pressing 3 buttons on your iPhone, right? Not a lot of value in that. There's not a lot of value in editing videos for people anymore. You can either find a really cheap editor, or you can go hire someone, or you can go hire Opus.ai and they'll do it for $12 a month, right? So it's we can start to see these things unfold where it's okay, the done for you aspect is starting to slowly disappear and become less and less valuable. But what is still valuable? What's still valuable is what do I say in the ad still? Okay, now I don't have to run the ad anymore. That's the easy part. But what do I say in the ad? What does the offer need to look like in order for it to be a good ad? How do I actually close people on a sales call? These are the things that are all strategy that you can't really do for somebody. You could write scripts for them, I guess, but that's why I love coaching and consulting, because you're showing people the strategy, you're giving them the overview, and then it's a responsibility on both of you guys for the client to have success. So that's why coaching, I think, is awesome. But you already scaled to over 6 figures to the coaching offer. What is your sort of next step for the next year to 2 years? What's Tim's sort of ideal outcome? Where are you heading towards, dude?
Yeah. So right now I noticed during this like coaching calls with clients, I noticed one thing that like on Twitter, it's all about consistency. And sometimes like, I'm going to be completely honest, you need to spend like 2 months, 3 months, writing this stuff, engaging, commenting without any like outcome at the beginning. Of course you can land, and I just described that like my first deal, I landed like in 2 weeks of doing so, but it's not the case in like, let's say for someone, it could not be a case. And what I'm thinking right now is to add some kind of a small part of it done for you to my coaching as well. So for some, I'm going to give you a quick example. On Twitter, there is a big thing called like shoutouts. So you can ask big account to retweet your stuff, to comment on your stuff. And this way you can get like initial boost. So I'm thinking about like adding this as a part of the community that we have. So people retweet like stuff from each other. And also I have accounts retweeting stuff from my students to make sure that they are like, they get this like quick win. They kind of scale fast. From the ground up, and they couldn't get like bored with like constant engagement for the first months. So right now I'm just like figuring out ways how to deliver wins faster, how to deliver results faster for my clients. And once I figured out that, the only goal is to scale as much as possible, not because I want it, but because like if your product is good, if your coaching is good, it's your like you need to help people. It's
your duty to get that in the hands of as many people as you can.
Right.
If you believe that your product is good, exactly. If you believe your coaching is good. So anyways, dude, thanks for hopping on, bro. I know we went a little bit longer on the YouTube channel. 8 to 12 minutes is usually like where you want the YouTube to be, but thank you guys for watching. If you guys want any of Tim's stuff, if you want to go follow him on Twitter, Instagram, you don't even need to ask him for his coaching program, because all you got to do is follow him on Instagram and his appointment setter is going to hit you up and it's going to be crazy. So I'll leave his stuff in the description down below. Go follow him. He's awesome. He puts out great content every single day. Go look at his Twitter strategy. It's awesome. And Tim, anything else you want to add before we kind of jump off here, dude?
I think that's pretty much it. Just follow us both, because Grayson, shout out to you. Your content is awesome as well. So Instagram, hope Twitter soon, man. It's your next step, bro.
It's the next step, bro. I'm going to do it.
Right. I like your content strategy. It's like, it's so authentic. You're going to crush it on Twitter.